This is ELH4X4 doing stuff. We're working on the 1976 Corvette. We're going over diagnosing brake booster and other things that are going on with it. The brake pedal is really hard. Reminds me of a 65 Volkswagen Beetle that I had. This has four-wheel disc power brakes. This is a 9-inch booster, dual diaphragm, and what we're going to go through is rule out if it's the brake booster. It could be the diverter valve or the proportioning valve, and we're going to go through and see what that issue is. And a while ago, when I had replaced all the brake lines and was bleeding the system, the front brakes bled with no problem. When it came time to do the rear brakes, the issue was manually, I couldn't do it. And then I had to go to a hand pump, vacuum hand pump, and that did it for a little while. And I went back to manual, so I was having a really difficult time bleeding the rear brakes. So maybe it's something in the proportioning valve that tripped, and that's why I'm running into an issue. But we're going to go through, we're going to see if we're pulling vacuum, we're going to make sure that this check valve is working properly, then we're going to go inside and hold the, follow along, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. Why would, enough of the yakking, let's get to doing, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull the vacuum line off. We didn't hear the vacuum leak, so right now I know that this check valve is working properly, but we can go over it more in depth. We're looking for 15 to 18 inches of mercury. 18, we'll say 18, because in 15 it says late ignition timing. So we'll shoot for anywhere in the green, okay? That we got about 19. What are you looking at? Right, over 20, so we're good on the vacuum. Good on the vacuum. What we're going to do is we're going to listen to the vacuum being pulled in, right? Nothing. Didn't hear it. That's weird. But I know that this valve works. It blows out. But that's vacuum. It shouldn't come, it shouldn't allow air going in this way, which it doesn't. That's weird why that didn't want to pull vacuum. So it may be this after all. I don't know. That's what we're doing, though. We're figuring it out. All right, the next test is inside the vehicle. So let's get you set up there. Let's get some light. Drop it on the ground. All right, it should move, right? Okay, it did. I didn't need light after all. I had the interior light. But this should... Yeah, there's vacuum. I'm going to do that again. You hear that? So we know the diaphragm's holding vacuum. I'm going to take this thing out for a quick test drive because what was going on inside, that brake pedal never moved like that. So that's weird. Alright, so this may all be for nothing. So, alright, so what we're doing is, or at least what I'm going to do from all the research that I've seen, and I'm going to try to relieve the shuttle valve. To me, it seems like the shuttle valve slid back towards the rear brakes when I was bleeding the rear brakes, and it sealed it off. But I don't know, because I hooked a test light up to the warning cable, or the lamp, right, the wire that goes to the lamp from the proportioning valve. And it doesn't seem like the shuttle valve was grounded against that contact. So the only thing I didn't do to this vehicle as far as brakes is this proportioning valve. I put all new rubbers in it, all new stainless brake lines, rebuilt the calipers, went from the lip seal to the O-ring seal, and the only thing I didn't take apart was that proportioning valve. So I don't know how the brakes were when I first got the vehicle. So yeah, the next thing I might be doing is taking apart the proportioning valve, see if it's all gummed up or whatever. But right now what I'm going to do is I got the brake caliper loose, the bleed valve loose. I want to depress the brake pedal a couple times and see if that breaks anything loose, whatever. I don't know what's... do you go from the furthest brake pad? You know what? To me, it's for convenience. I can get to this side easier, so that's the side I'm going to work with. So I'm going to depress the brake pedal a couple times and see what that does. All right, here we go. Alright, well I see I got brake fluid all over the place, but alright. It did fill up. What are you guys looking at? The one-man bleeding valve did fill up. I don't know. The brake pedal did go all the way to the floor, so alright, let's see what the master cylinder looks like. Let's get some light action going on. A little bit of brake clean on the okay, not bad. This was an original master cylinder that I had rebuilt. Alright, so I took the car on a test drive, and you know, I got some brake pedal, like where before it was kind of, you know, hard to depress, and you had to use extreme force, full force to get any action out of it, right? So now it's just like the pedal kind of freed up a little bit, but it still feels like manual brakes. So when I got the car, I didn't know what the condition of the brakes were as far as working properly, because all the calipers were seized. So I didn't drive the car when I got it. It was dilapidated. So really the only thing that I haven't, and I've explained this before, is the only thing I haven't done was the brake booster and the distribution block with the proportioning valve, right? And I don't even know if it's the original one, and you know, and this would be a disc to disc, since it's four-wheel disc brake. I don't even know if that's the right distribution block, but I ended up buying a new distribution block because I can't find the rebuild kit anymore. I had noticed before when I was bleeding the system that fluid was leaking out of the proportioning valve on the distribution block, right, for the rear brakes. There, and I'll show you once we get to it. And there's hundreds of videos out there that talk about rebuilding what they call a proportioning valve, but it's actually a distribution block with a proportioning valve built into it. And I'll show you that once we get there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the upper lines coming from the master cylinder to the distribution block. And I'm going to put the brake bleeding hoses in it. That way the fluid doesn't leak out at the distribution block when I take the lines off from there. So what I'm going to do is get that set up and pull the distribution block off, and I'll meet you back top side. All right, so I got the bleeding kit hooked up. That way I'm not constantly losing brake fluid, and I don't have to worry about doing stuff with the things and the whatnot. So anyway, yeah, that's what I got going on. I'm going to go underneath, take the distribution block off, and like I said, I'll meet you top side. All right, so we got the distribution block out, proportioning valve right here, and this is the spot that I was telling you that was leaking. Right, it leaked all down, you know, if it's up on a frame, it leaked all down on the side of the frame when I was going through the brake bleeding procedures. The front brake worked fine, bled fine, but I was having difficulty with the rear brake. And the research that I found on YouTube was that this is a valve or a seal that leaks that lets you know that the internal seals are compromised. You know, and somebody had referred to it like the weep hole inside of the the water pump, right? So this is the weep hole that lets you know that the seals on the inside are compromised. So we're going to find out. This is a 7/8, 5/8 on the switch for the brake light. You know, lets you know that there's an issue with the brake system. And 7/8 for the proportioning valve. Since this is a disc-to-disc system, and I guess it would have a different size restriction in here if it was disc and rear drum. So let's see if we can't get the proportioning valve off, or if we can. All right, I'm going to have to put that in the vise. There was some trash in this side. Oh, we got to take the... I'll be right back. I'm going to reinstall that just in case, because, you know, it looks like it's all spring-loaded and whatnot. And okay. The rubber gasket looks okay. The seal, rubber seal looks okay. So, from what these other videos showed, yeah, maybe, that when the shuttle valve detects a leak, if it, you know, if the rear brake's compromised, the shuttle valve will go to the path of least resistance and make contact with this little switch. So this part right here moves up and down, that when that shuttle valve moves, it pushes up on the switch, and then that's how it makes contact. So it's always touching the shuttle valve, and then it's kind of ramped, and then when it moves either direction, it'll push up on this little nipple and make contact and turn the light on, if the light bulb is good, right, or the wiring is good. I know my light is good because my emergency brake, when I pull up on it, the brake light comes on. I tested the wire going to the switch, and it seemed fine. So, all right. Anyway. There's a little star washer in here that comes out. So now all we got to do is just get this shuttle valve out. And I can't hardly see. All right. There we go. Yeah, it looks okay. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad. Trying to there's that stupid LED light. All right, it doesn't look gummed up inside there. The seals don't look compromised. There is a little bit of crud. And there aren't springs in this one. You know, the ones I've seen, there's like a spring here. This is how it would be. Right, and there's that raised spot. You know, when it moves, it would depress that little nipple for the brake light. Right, so this wasn't tripped. Man, I don't know, but this was leaking, and that's usually a telltale sign of the seals compromised. So I don't know, majority of these seals look like they can be replaced from a seal kit, except for this one. Let's take this one apart, and it's all swelled up and whatnot. Am I even in frame here? Anyway, there we go. Did that what? Yeah, that thing just disintegrated. There wasn't even a... It wasn't even a... it looks like one of those star washers that holds it in. And I guess you can see the remnants of it around here. Well, oh, we actually found it. So, man, I don't know. Is it going to end up being the power brake booster? I'm going to have to find out. But I got this from... I'm trying to find the name. If it's the same dudes, I got the complete brake line kit for stainless brake line. I'll have to find the name. But anyway, the brake line kit just fit perfectly. You know, hardly any excessive manipulation and whatnot. So I got the fuel line and the brake line kit, and it went in really nice. But and I'm thinking it's the same people that I'm getting this distribution block from too. So